Joining our cameras high up above the enclosure is Jock Brown.
The Airdrie team showing 3 changes from the 11 men who earned a point last week at Kilmarnock, obviously for technical reasons. Russell, McCulloch and Thompson are out, and the men replacing them are Irwin, Gordon and Maguire. And there's a close-up of the new personality keeper of the Premier League, John Martin, 22 years old, the man who broke Rangers' hearts in the match which we showed you a few weeks ago. And Celtic stick by the 13 players who drew 1 each against Dundee United on Wednesday night, but 2 changes. McGarvey and Nicholas come in from the start as expected, leaving McDonald and Doyle on the bench. And that means a second first-team appearance for young Mark Reid, 19 years old. He's been 2 years serving an apprenticeship at Celtic Park after joining from Celtic Boys Club. So Celtic have won the toss, and that could be very important indeed, with a very strong wind blowing at their backs throughout the first half. So Airdrie will obviously have to spend quite a lot of the first half in their own half of the field. So perhaps that man John Martin will have some early pressure to withstand. There's young Mark Reid. Now Nicholas. Reid flighting it forward, looking for McGarvey, and he appears to be bumped by Anderson. That's the first free kick of the match to Celtic. Celtic, of course, anxious to get off to a good start because they've lost their last 2 league matches, conceding 5 goals to Aberdeen and Rangers and failing to score in either match. Frank McGarvey looking for some room in the box. Province free kick. And that shows you the power of the wind behind Celtic. That one flying well beyond John Martin's goal. Well stopped by Ian Gordon. That's Maguire looking for support. The portly figure of Pat McCluskey provides it. Now it's Walker. Withstanding the challenge from Weir. McAdam delaying too long to clearing the ball. Here's Maguire. McEwen, that's a good ball. And just beyond Sandy Clark. And undoubtedly a let-off for the Celtic defence. The trouble caused by Tom McAdam dallying on the ball at the corner of the box. Brian McEwen had the chance to drive it across, and Sandy Clark just out of reach. Nicholas just being wrapped from behind by Norrie Anderson. Giving the free kick to Celtic. Danny McGrain insisting on some movement up front. There's McCluskey. And that one almost catching John Martin by surprise. A great snapshot by McCluskey. Look how he turns on the ball. He's got tremendous skill inside the box. Turns, spots the gap at the near post and almost gives Celtic the lead. There's Roy Aitken in the box for the corner. Towards the far side looking for McAdam. Here's Burns. And that's the courage of John Martin. The Airdrie defenders most unhappy about the challenge of Frank McGarvey, but I think in fairness the ball was free until the moment when John Martin swooped on it. It's a good ball against the wind by Martin, but the Airdrie forwards didn't quite appreciate the strength behind his kick. And that's Norrie Anderson penalised or pushing into the back of Frank McGarvey. Free kick to Celtic. Short one, McGrain to Provan. A chance to cross. McAdam's at the far post. Charged down by McCluskey. McCluskey's experience invaluable to the Airdrie defence. There's Provan's corner kick. McAdam trying to get there. And McGrain. There's Aitken with lots of space. Roy Aitken opens the scoring. And the question that must be asked is, where was that Airdrie defence? cleared out. You can see it coming to McGrain, and when he played it through, Roy Aitken had yards of space all around him to turn and drive the ball firmly behind John Martin to give Celtic the best possible start with just 11 minutes on the clock. So Airdrie faced now with a massive problem. All the elements against them. Celtic with their tails up. And half-time a long way away. There's McEwen. Back it goes to McCluskey. Now Tommy Burns. Just squirming off the right foot of George Anderson. Weir is the Celtic number 6. Here's Nicholas. Taken over by Provan. There's freedom in the box from McGarvey. 2-0. And once again, question marks against the Airdrie defence. Ball collected on the Celtic left by Provan. He measured that cross, and there's McGarvey going in the blind side of the Airdrie defence with no cover at all, and the header giving John Martin no chance whatever. Walker taking it back now from Clark. That's very ambitious with Roy Aitken coming across. Here's Willie Maguire. That was a good effort from Maguire, but Bonner had none of the angle. Now here's Nicholas for Celtic. Beautiful control. Now Provan. Brought down by Pat McCluskey. Another free kick to Celtic in a very dangerous position. John Martin indicating the number of players he wants in the wall. So 5 Airdrie players lining up. Taken wide to McGrain. That's a great ball. Charlie Nicholas. They were queuing up there. McGarvey missed it. Nicholas didn't, and that's 3-0 to Celtic. Great imagination on the part of the Celtic players at the free kick. Looked like a direct shot at goal until the ball was played short to McGrain, and that great low driven ball caught the defence at sea. Charlie Nicholas appearing as he has done 18 times before this season to score for Celtic. And there's Bobby Watson, feeling very upset, no doubt. 3 goals down. Now Provan. McGrain has a lot of space wide again. There's McGarvey. Can't control it. Followed by Weir. There's McGrain. And look how far Martin came out to solve that problem. And Nicholas sending that one a foot wide. But the hero there, undoubtedly John Martin. He came off his line very fast indeed to face the threat posed by Danny McGrain. And that's goalkeeping of a very high standard. There's Pat McCluskey. That's in for Maguire. Oh, great play from McGrain. Deep run from Burns, the wind carrying the ball beyond Irwin. Look at the pace of Burns and the pace of John Martin. McCluskey. Here's McEwen under pressure right away from Reid, but playing it forward well. Here's Irwin. Clark has room in the box. It's cut off by McAdam. Now Walker. That's Charlie Nicholas back there helping out in defence. Celtic really do get a lot of players behind the ball whenever they lose possession. Wire back to Irwin. There's Sandy Clark. And a fleeting chance there for the Airdrie skipper. I think perhaps caught in two minds about whether to try to control the ball or sweep it on first time. George McCluskey surviving that hefty challenge from Gordon. Goal kick to Airdrie. So now into injury time in the first half. And John Martin, no doubt, will be happy in the second half to take these goal kicks, wind assisted. That's it. The end of a first half which was undoubtedly thoroughly satisfactory for Celtic. Coming straight back to form. Getting into the lead with that early goal from Roy Aitken, followed by a second from Frank McGarvey. There's McGarvey. And the third scored by Charlie Nicholas. Airdrie perhaps reflecting on the wisdom of going tight man for man at the back in the early stages. So Celtic to restart facing that very strong breeze. Airdrie no doubt looking for a very early return for their efforts to try to produce a comeback to earn them perhaps a point. Well, right from the start Celtic go into attack. That's George McCluskey bringing out the great save from Martin. So Airdrie beginning to build up some pressure. There's McEwen, Tommy Walker. That's cleared up by Aitken. A lofted ball forward by Irwin. There's the head flick, Willie Maguire. And Pat Bonner coming off his line in a style very reminiscent of John Martin on several occasions in the first half. Now Provan is revelling in this genuine midfield role. He's not being confined to the right flank as normal. George McCluskey doing that job in attack for him. Back to Provan. Brain takes over. There's McGarvey, he's found space. And Martin it is once again, smothering the attack. More trouble. The header from Tommy Burns and the save from that man, John Martin. He's lost 3 goals, but he's had an outstanding match in the Airdrie goal. Gordon gets another chance. That's a better pass. Brian McEwen. Clark in good position. Look at the Celtic players getting back. Tommy Burns and Mark Reid combining to give the corner kick to Airdrie. Bonner on the line. Down by McGrain for another corner kick. As George Anderson has joined the attack. Same for Anderson, and that one was as close as Airdrie have been. He stole it in the back, he got lots of room. There was plenty of power in the header, but the elevation just not quite right. Here comes Aitken, the man who started all the good news for Celtic with that opening goal. Great play by Aitken. Here's McGarvey. Great chance for McGarvey. And would you believe it? I'm sure you will. That's John Martin to the rescue once again. A great chance for Frank McGarvey after that sterling run forward by Aitken, and stopped only by the timing and the courage of John Martin. Now McCluskey forcing his way to the byline. That's a free kick. Well, Maury Anderson certainly accusing a few Celtic players today of Oscar-winning performances, although that looked to me a clear free kick. George McCluskey in the box, Provan with the kick towards McAdam. It's well cleared by George Anderson. Now Burns at the second attempt. Sent spinning by Irwin. last word from the referee as free kick is awarded. There's Harry Irwin. Certainly 10 out of 10 for courage and determination. Dangerous ball and very coolly played back by Ian Gorton. Marguerite's header. That's McAdam's tackle. Now Provan. That's a fine run forward. John Weir. The cross cut off again by Martin. Well, what a day he's having. Hard to imagine this young man has lost 3 goals already this afternoon. Here's Reid. McGarvey still running. He hasn't stopped all day. Free kick to Celtic. Well, it would now be only icing on the cake, but the Celtic supporter would certainly welcome a closing flourish from their favourites. There's Burns with the free kick. That's it. Tom McAdam at the far post makes it 4-0 to Celtic. And a moment of misfortune for John Martin. The free kick caused all the trouble right across the far post. It looked as though Willie McCulloch would clear it. He didn't quite get his boot to the ball, and Tom McAdam did to send it slowly past John Martin to finalise Airdrie's misery. It's Tom McAdam to Nicholas. Great accuracy to find McGrain. That's McGarvey teeing it up for Provan. The linesman's flagging. Off the crossbar. But the free kick is given. Far side linesman appear to flag for handball. So that effort from Frank McGarvey, which earned him the heavy knock, was all to no avail. Game going on. McGarvey not being allowed the chance to have treatment. There's Willie Maguire. And a consolation goal for Airdrie that you could scarcely grudge them. Little Willie Maguire, who's fought all afternoon, hits the goal. A long ball forward, catching the Celtic defence with their concentration in tatters. And Maguire remaining very composed as he played the ball wide of Pat Bonner. So Airdrie 1, Celtic 4. The final minute of the match.
Final score 4-1, and the Premier League's big 3 step further away from the pack, as you can see now. Aberdeen were 1 down to a brilliant Alec O'Hara goal before Mark McGee and Gordon Strachan from the penalty spot got them the points. Dundee United got their first home league win with goals from Paul Sturrock and Davy Dodds. Morton were 2 down to goals by Alfie Conn and Derek O'Connor before Joe McLaughlin and Jim Rooney earned a draw. And at Ibrox